Okay, now would be a good time because I know he has to get going. So if you see him, tell him that he's ready to speak. We'll raise your hand anytime he's ready. Okay, on with our program. If you notice behind me, I have a beautiful flag. It has 48 stripes or stars on it. That is lent to us from Tracy Thomas. She has that. She got it from a family who their son earned it during World War II. And we have this day set aside as the Fun and Freedom Picnic to honor those who have fought for our freedom and those who started this country over 200 years ago. And so behind me we see a flag, and we proudly wave the flag as many times as we can as a symbol of our country and as a symbol of hope for the world. In front of me, you see what we stand for as the Olathe Republican Party. This is our Olathe Republican t-shirt. Many people say, what do Republicans stand for? They're just the party of no. So we said, well, this is what we stand for. We are pro-life, pro-liberty, pro-constitution, pro-gun rights, pro-faith, pro-family, and pro-military Republican. Just in case you need some more clarification on that, as you came in, each of you were able to get a copy of the Kansas State Platform. That's the green sheet. This was, I actually got to help put this together with several other activists here in the state. John Bradford, the Leavenworth County chair, helped put that together, as well as Peggy Mast, who chaired it. She is a representative down from the Emporia area. And this was passed, I'm amazed and pleased to say, with no amendments at the state convention, and almost unanimously. It is a very conservative platform. As we hear the candidates speak today, here is my advice to you as the Olathe Republican Party chair. Whoever stands closest to this platform, vote for them. That's my advice. That's what I'm going to be doing. Now, the last thing we'll talk about is our next speaker. You know, this is an incredible time in our country's history. We are seeing, as Mike said earlier, some changes we never thought would happen. And we need to stand up and do stuff about it. I appreciate all of you coming here and caring enough to take this hot day and come and listen to some cool politicians. The first one we're going to start with is a blast from the past. Steve Schuett's going to come on over and actually do a dramatic recitation of one of the speeches that got us here to start with. Patrick Henry speaking before the Virginia House on why we needed a revolution. Steve.
Are you ready for a revolution today? Yes! Are you ready for a revolution of thought and of principle? Yes! In 1775, on March 20th, the Virginia Conference came together. The Virginia Convention came together. It was a rather pivotal time in the nation's history. You see, a couple of months earlier, Lexington and Concord had occurred on the fields of Massachusetts. War had already begun for our independence. But there were states that had not made a decision as to whether or not to raise up armies, militias against the British. Virginia was one of them. You remember, Virginia was the state of Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, James Monroe. Many of the great leaders of the Revolutionary period came from that state. As they said in colonial times, as went Virginia, so went the nation. And so we find ourselves on March 23rd, 1775. On that day, the convention delegates were considering a resolution to raise an army against British rule and to contribute delegates and whatever resources were necessary to the new constitutional convention that was happening, or the Continental Congress that was happening in Philadelphia. There were many in that body that did not want to go to war with the British. Many who wanted to be loyal to the crown. Many more who wanted diplomacy to win the day. And there was a majority who did not want to raise an army at the time. And then a delegate by the name of Patrick Henry spoke. And those words that I'm about to speak to you immortalized him, changed the course of the revolution, and won our freedom. So without further ado, Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death. No man, Mr. President, thinks more highly than I do of the patriotism as well as the abilities of the very honorable gentlemen who have just addressed this House. But different men often see the same subject in different lights, and therefore I will hope that it will not be thought disrespectful of those worthy gentlemen if, entertaining as I do, an opinion of a character very opposite to theirs, I should speak forth my sentiments freely and without reserve. This is no time for ceremony. The question before this House is one of awful moment to the country. For my part, I consider it as nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery, and in proportion to the magnitude of the subject ought to be the freedom of debate. It is only this way we can hope to arrive at truth and fulfill the great responsibility which we hold to God and our country. Should I keep back my opinions at this time through fear of giving offense, I should consider myself as guilty of treason towards my country and an act of disloyalty to the majesty of heaven, which I revere above all earthly kings. Mr. President, it is natural to man to indulge in the illusions of hope. Sound familiar? Yeah. We are apt to shut our eyes against the painful truth and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into beasts.